Yeah. You know what it is. Another episode of the Miller Experience Overtime. We got a great one for you guys today. Today we have our special guest back, Reverend Darrell James, my boy Soul Toucher, Victor, and you know the cowboy lover Craig. He be on the way. But before we get started, I want to thank you guys for supporting the content. And when I say supporting, you guys are beating up the comments like crazy. Y'all coming at me. I got to invite y'all to the show. Y'all speak your piece, man. Just last Thursday, we was at 745 subscribers. We're currently at 767. So keep on liking, keep on hating. I love it all, ladies and gentlemen. Keep supporting, keep loving. We're going to bring you guys great content. All right? Vic, what we got for the first topic?
All right. Two comments. Brandon T. Jackson goes off on fake black movements, and Charleston White, he said his spiel about lack of respect for hardworking men. I'm going to play a little bit of both videos. A second, if I can pull up it. Here it is. Shout out to the Art of Dialogue, the podcast.
That's right. That's right. You trying to get sued?
Oh.
You're not the leader. You're not the leader, nigga.
Let me try again.
Chappelle had brought up that point too, like a long time ago. He was talking about how they always tried to get like black entertainers in outfits. Like they
getting everybody in outfits, man. Black, white, niggas, Robin Williams, all these niggas is doing it. Stop the black shit. I'm done right now. If black people don't fuck all the black shit now. I'm done with it. I did that already. Nobody want to come. If you want to come together, we going to come together when we going down to motherfucking Legends and you want to spend $200,000. When it's time to buy a community center for the kids, you got to call your accountant. But what about this 200 grand we just spent at the damn strip club? I don't want to hear that shit about no damn black shit. We American now. Ain't no African American passports right now. Show me African American passport.
All right, let me play a little bit of Charleston White. And then I'll leave to you guys to discuss. There it is.
Black people. Stand up. You don't know none?
Not personally. I know some stand-up fathers.
Okay.
Yeah, I know some niggas that get shitted on because they poor, but they some good daddies, my nigga.
Okay.
Yeah. See, black people idolize and worship celebrities. Black people don't worship a nigga with a warehouse job that's paying child support every week and his car break down sometime and he ain't got no cyber truck. Black people don't worship that nigga. They don't clap for no nigga who just got his CDL. They clap for a nigga that's going to the league. So you tell me something since 1964 that black people have accomplished that we can be proud of collectively and stand before the world and stick our chests out. The rest of the world is laughing at us for our accomplishments.
Okay, I'll stop right there, and I'll put the links to both of those in the chat. But I'm just gonna let you guys. Oh, here comes Craig. But I'll let you guys. Whoever wants to start it off here.
Show me an African American passport. That's all.
Brandon T. Jackson getting sick of false black movements, and Charleston White talking about a lack of respect for basically a man that's just a hard worker. He might not be a millionaire or in the league, but just basically just working hard. We don't really get that. Do hardworking black men get respect from the community? Let me put it that way.
Darrell, as a pastor, what you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I was listening a little what Charleston was saying. You know, I know him for years. I know him before he blew up, and he was when he was more his language and how he expressed himself. And I understand. I mean, he explained why he went the route he went with the theatrics and a lot of the way he's verbalizing stuff now. Because it's almost like, you know, you can't pop off, become successful unless you become cartoonish to a certain degree and start expressing yourself in a particular way. But I kind of understand what he was saying, that, you know, like, you know, we don't celebrate the brothers that get their CDL license. Most people don't even know what a CDL is. And because as a community of people, but I don't think it's just black people. I just think it's all over. I mean, I don't think the Anglo-Saxon or any other community, whether you're Indian or Asian, I really don't see it as I think that there are people that want to make things black and white, and I understand why, because of the historical narratives and the false information that has been kind of predicated on our community as whole. But we all know that we're not monolithic. We're not just, there's different flavors. We got lazy black people, we got lazy white people, we got lazy Asian people. There's people are just people, but the stereotypes for African Americans seems to be this bubble that, that we as a community are trying to break through. And so, so you get the ideologies comes up of systematic racism and other things of that nature. But the hardest part is that vetting some of the complaints out, like, we only represent what, 16, 14, 15% of the economy. We only represent we're a small fragment of the economy compared to other ethnic groups. So, I just think it's just I'm gonna be quiet here. I just think it's an overreach. I think it's conversation just to have conversation and gin up stuff sometimes. And I think that's sometimes people need to do. They need to make something and stir it up and and create something where there's not nothing. But
yeah, let me say this, right? I get what you're saying on that, but I think sometimes you got to live it by experience. And I'm gonna use this for example, just like with this my podcast and everything. I get support from majority of our people, and key word is majority. People you see right here, the main ones. The young man that gave me the connection I just told you about before the show started, him. Dude, unless I'm big time, when I try to get like sponsors or just a simple share or something like that, I got the other side support me, bro. I got Indians and white people supporting me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but man, your question is there not to? I think people support what they want to support, what they like, and so
yeah.
I think that when you hit buttons and you press buttons and you're engaging people, like I remember like one of the brothers. What's the brother that died? Dealing with I followed him before he started talking to women. The one that died.
Oh, you talking about? Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Kevin Sanders.
Yeah, Kevin Sanders. Yeah,
Kevin Sanders.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew following because the spaces, like I'm in y'all know I'm in media. So in the media space, I knew Kevin when he was just talking to brothers.
I did too. I was been following him too. When he started getting popular, I was like, "Oh, this dude's jamming out, man."
He wasn't big then.
Yeah.
Nobody was waiting. All of a sudden, when he started dealing with the female market and really going after them, all of a sudden, that's when he blew up.
Yeah.
So I think it's time and chance. I think that So I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I wouldn't throw people under the bus, a group of people under the bus, because it may appear as though they don't support. I would just simply say that, sometimes people, I think it's the content with the conversation, look at, like we were just talking about Charleston. Look, until he started acting like he acting, talking like he talking, nobody was saying. Now this brother done a lot of good work, good work. Nobody pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on it, man.
I think a lot of it is stirring the pot and finding your niche. It's about connection. And by the way, fellas, I apologize for being a little late.
Yeah, you a cowboy. Yeah, we understand. Go ahead.
No, you had to throw that in there. But anyway, I really do. I really think it's about finding a niche. Trying to find the people that you can appeal to, and once you find that, it seems like they tend to go far fetched, and I think that's a part of what Charleston is. I mean, again, great fella, did a lot of things.
Yeah,
once he found that he can dive into something and people relate, they start relating to what he's saying, and he blew up. And that's truly what it is. A lot of people want to find their niche, and once they find it, they kind of massage it and do different things, and to keep it going, you have to add spark, a little spice.
Yeah.
And that's where he is. Not to knock a brother, because as long as you're doing you and you're not hurting anyone, then more luck to you. I mean, I'm all about people rising up. I'm not about that. Yeah, knocking a person down or making them feel bad about themselves. I mean, we get marginalized, just walking out in the street, going to our job.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like we should support one another, and if we feel like someone's doing something nefarious, call them out on it. Yeah.
So, what about you, bro?
Well, so getting back to not supporting black men, I do get where you're coming from, and yes, it's all across the board. It's not, just about black men. But if we take ourselves and look at ourselves, there's not a lot of support for the average black man. Yes, they touting celebrities, artists, this, that, and the other, who, don't have much reach or are not reaching back to you individually, whereas that man or those black men in your community, they're right there with you. And if they're showing you a positive influence, you're not gravitating towards them or supporting them, but you're looking at Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and all these other people who are popular or are exhibiting reckless behavior, and then our children are imitating that behavior as opposed to imitating this man with the CDL, or this man that's going to college, or this man that's breaking his back to raise his family. There's not a lot of support there. So I get what he's saying, and I understand where y'all are coming from, but at the same time, it is a lack of support for the black man in the black community.
I would agree with you, but I would agree with you only on from a narrow perspective. I'll share what that perspective is, and I'll just say this: being a pastor, being somebody that's kind of integrated into, whether it be communities that are fraternal, being communities that are church organizations, clubs and things of that nature. I think the support breaks down when you don't belong, and a lot of people in society don't belong to anything. We deal with a generation, like especially right now, we deal with a generation that's heavily online. So, they go look for online communities, online people that kind of support what they want. But out in the world, when you're still out in the world, you don't really get to network and be involved with people to see the different, the differences in people. And I give you one example. My oldest son, for example, you guys know I'm raised up in the church, raised my kids up in the church, but my oldest son, taking like a little different way in life and taking his path and journey. And one of the things I'm always trying to get him to understand is that, because he wants to go the entrepreneurial path, but I'm like saying, you can't be no entrepreneur and be void of community. You just can't be. You have to be inside of a community. You can't expect just to do business and people support you. You got to belong to a community. When you belong to something, I've been an entrepreneur in my life, and the reason why I've been successful, and I think I've been very successful in all of my endeavors, is because I always belonged to something. People knew what I do. Brothers knew what I did. So when I belong to something, not just go to work, I'm talking about belong. I contribute to the community. I'm a part of the community. So to me, like, for example, the church is one place where we see that. But there's it's not just the church, it's other organizations, there's other things that you can belong to become a part of where you're contributing your services. So I think that a lot of times when people don't get support, I think because they don't build themselves within the infrastructure community. It's easy to, I'm going to open up a landscaping business and I'm going to sit here and cry that people don't support me. And people don't know who you are. They don't know you. They don't know you as a person. But when people know you and they know what you do, I've never met somebody that didn't know what people do and say, hey, yo, man, I got somebody for you. I'll refer you somewhere. I know somebody. That's what we do. People are natural networkers, but there's a lot of people that pull themselves out of the network and then cry, like I can't get no support. So and now that still doesn't mean that we should be more ready. But I'm just saying, so in that particular area, I agree with you, but I think there's an area that a point of failure that people have who want support, but they don't belong to nothing. They don't belong. They're not supporting anything. They're not doing charity. They're not part of organizations. They're not, and I'm a big advocate for anybody that, hey, look, man, get involved with the schools, after school programs, things that are going on. Make yourself available and help build the network around you, and then see what happens,
What you think, Bill?
Yeah, I think, and I've found this that sometimes we can think in a very isolated way in reference to our communities. So when we're in the office of African American men, sometimes it can be real easy to just say, well, Black men, we don't support each other because we're not in a white community or an Asian community, we're not a part of those communities, and we think that those groups are doing what's not being done here, and not realize that other communities are maybe struggling with the same problems we're struggling with, but we're so isolated in our thinking. So it can be really easy to say, we don't support each other, and that may be true in an isolated sense. But I've seen that, and I've also seen, Black men that are scammers and schemers get support because they're in a community and they basically leverage that. So that's just kind of what I think. I mean, we all need to support each other, but part of that is also as an individual being a part of our community, like Daryl said, being in the community.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, it's multi-layered. It's like an octopus with 1,000 arms.
Yeah.
What Daryl said is what everyone has said is a contributing factor to it. Then we also have to look at how individuals look at other individuals. Yes, you have to be a part of something, but you also have to allow people to be a part of something, and you also have to be proactive to be a part of something. So there are so many layers to that onion that we can peel it back till we get to the middle of it, and we're still peeling. But I think just as a Black community, we need to find that nucleus and gravitate towards that nucleus, reach out our tentacles and pull each other in, and not say, well, this is not for me, let me run out over here or not over here, because we think the grass is greener on the other side. But as long as we build our communities, we'll have that internal support to where we can grow and look at what Daryl is saying.
Yeah, I built when I came to and Ernest, you testify to this. When I came to South Carolina in 2017, it took me 2 to 3 years. I mean, I own Manning now. Mayor helped me with that, but I got over 10,000 people on Manning now that I'm going to be opening it up, and we're going to be broadcasting this on that coming in the new year. After I talked to Vic and Ernie X about it a little bit more, but that's 10,000 people that are subscribers. But that's just not because I built the site. It's because I inserted myself. Myself not only in the church and other organizations. When the mayor needed something for the city, boom, I was right there. I ain't worried about no money. I'm going to be a part. I want to be a part. I want to show my labor of love. But I inserted myself in the community because I'm an entrepreneur. I know how it works. You can't move like that and it not come back to you. So people begin to know you, and it built that way. So it wasn't like so when the police officer had his the boxing match,
Yeah.
I made sure I came out and filmed that. I wasn't trying to negotiate nobody no fees. I came and just did it pro bono, just to make sure that I kept myself visible. So I think that a lot of people cry, but as Soul said, it's layers. And I think that he said it best when he said there's layers. That's one layer. But as you keep going, you'll see other layers, and you keep pulling back, and you'll find out that, most people with the support we don't get sometimes is because of those layers that we're not doing, things that we're not doing, you know.
I think that personally, I think that a lot of times it's black men, most black men are doers, and they're reticent about speaking out because of an education standpoint. They don't feel like they know how to come across to garner relationships.
That's the point I was about to make, Craig. Yeah.
Huh?
I said I was about to make that point. You took the words right out of my mouth. Go ahead.
A lot of them don't. And from an educational standpoint, they feel like they might say something wrong or offensive or because of the way they were brought up or the way they speak. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like they don't really know how to cultivate a relationship in the community. You know, they're so used to doing. Like say they do a car wash to build or a barbecue or things like that. But, you know, they are doers, but they don't really know how to project an image of, you know, togetherness. Mm-hmm. They just do.
But that goes back to what Daryl was saying. You know, if you're a part of something, there's somebody in there that can assist you with, you know, honing those skills. But, you know, I don't understand why, and I just have to stick with the Black community. I don't know why the Black community is so apprehensive of reaching in for that assistance instead of saying, well, I'm not a good speaker, so I'm just going to be a doer. And, you know, I might miss out on other opportunities because I'm not trying to belong. But again, if you try to be in it and people pull you in, you have everything that you have in that community.
But unfortunately, like we talk about the scammers and things of that nature, men have been burnt and don't feel like they want to reach out anymore. You understand?
You ain't lying. We know one. We know one of them.
And it could be family, not just someone, you know, that you're in the community and someone who actually have projected themselves to be one of the guys that wants to bring the community together and things of that nature, which again, as you and Vic, we know people like that.
Yeah.
But then you're burnt.
We know a school like that too.
Yeah. It's just like being scammed. You know, once you've been scammed once, you're like, wait a minute, what did I do wrong? Let me reevaluate this. Let me reevaluate myself. You know, what was I doing? Trying to be nice, trying to be liked? You know, I need to work on being decent and kind and understand that you don't have to be liked, just be respected. You know? But being scammed, being burnt.
I'm gonna put it like this, and we can go to the next topic. I'm gonna end it like this. You guys, everything you're saying is facts, but just from I'm gonna speak from a personal experience. I can kind of see where Charleston coming from. Now, Darren, I know you say trying to get in the groups, different organizations, different things around the community to help. But sometimes when you're trying, they won't let you in. So sometimes you gotta be like, F it, I'm gonna build my own. And that's the point I got to now. When I say schools, I'm not gonna say the school name, but Victor and Craig, you guys know. We reach out to a school 3 times. 3 times. Get an interview. We spoke to them. It's a Black school. No response. I reach out to a white school. Y'all say the school, University of South Carolina, 1 time. Ain't never had an issue with them. Always got a response back. Sometimes, man, and I hate to play that black man versus black man thing, but sometimes it's your reality. Sometimes you can't help it.
And then they try to go in the back door on you when you reach out. When you extend that hand.
Seriously, you can't help it.
You extend the hand.
From my experience, guys, it happens to me. Seriously, Craig, they witness it. I don't get an issue with the white organizations, with the Indians. I don't. It's with my people. Real talk. You ask my wife. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say something I'm regret. Let me stop right where I'm at. Anyway, hey, let's go to the next.
Hey, real quick.
Hey, listen, Eric,
when you
you sitting on the couch. Listen, you sitting on the couch, but you have a moment. You're around to have a moment on that couch.
And then they come behind you and try to do something behind your back.
Yeah, they didn't come behind, man. Hey, let's go. Let's move on. Man. I'm gonna say something.
All right, next topic. Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, congratulations on winning the Heisman. But his fiance has been a trending topic. Partly because she started out by saying that she said that he initially wasn't her type, but over time, I guess from his perspective that he won her over. But apparently there are a number of red flags with her. Ernst was talking to me about it earlier that one of them was that she drinks herself to sleep, something like that, or
when she gets upset, she's so backstory. If you guys don't know, Travis Hunter just won Heisman. He has a fiance. All of a sudden, she's trending now. Like Drake said, you wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's getting up there. He's going to the NFL. Now she want to speak out more. Now she want to speak more in relationship. Why are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Why are you talking? We don't know you. We know Travis. Yes, we discussed your relationship. I just want to say, Travis, you're 20 years old. You're going into the NFL. Just won Heisman. You might be a first. You're going to be a top 5 pick. Get married in May.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. Think about it, please. I know Dion talked to you. I know your dad probably. I'm sure your mama talked to you. Your mama like she don't play. If you're watching, just think about this, bro. Just think about it. It's red flags all over the place. When she get depressed, she has to drink herself to sleep. Really? At 20?
Yeah.
At 20 years old. Just think about it, Trav. What you guys think?
Well,
How long they been together?
They met in college.
Okay, so here's the thing you got to realize too, though. I'm gonna just keep it 100, and this
That's why I want OGs to talk, man. That's why I want OGs to talk, man.
Travis is a 4.0, man. This is an academic. This guy's academic point, so he ain't stupid. So I just think that sometimes when you guys got the smart like that, this academically, that just may be a way for him to segue into another space and you utilize his woman is a mouthpiece to kind of to push that agenda. Why I'm just saying because typically men with that type of level of IQ and that type of knowledge and that type of GPA that he has in the field that it is, hey, they're not going to align themselves. These guys coming up are pretty strategic. They know how to leverage themselves. These guys, even when they're going into sports, they're trained. You know how football players, these guys don't typically go broke like basketball players because they're groomed and trained to understand the injuries and the opportunities and things. So I think it may be more than what meets the eye. That's my
there. Stop. I get it.
Yeah, I hear you. I tell you, we don't really know what that relationship is.
Daryl, then you go. Hold on. Okay. Daryl, no. He's cat whipped. Forget all that 4.0 GPA.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't no knock against my brother Travis, but he ain't the most handsome man in the world, right? So he probably never had a chick like that. He finally got one like that. Now he's stuck on stupid. That's just my opinion. You might be right with a 4.0, but from my opinion, I've been to college. I ain't thought about marrying no chick when I was 20 years old.
Yeah, I know what you're saying that, but the world was a different place. Like, so for example, the world is a different place. Like a lot of people now are dating and in college, but they are, they're on social media. They're trying to figure out how to do things together, how to leverage. People see opportunities and see people becoming millionaires. 50 fat cats is 16 years old now, man, doing $50,000 a month.
Yeah, on social media.
Yeah, social media. You see that. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that you have to enter into the mind of that culture and see the moves that they're making and not disregard it. I'm not saying that he may be totally, like you said, he may be totally out, but I'm trying to give the guy a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you trying. You trying. I give it to you. You trying. I give it to you. Yeah, that's good.
Y'all know what she's doing. Y'all know what she's doing. She's building her brand.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to build her brand, just like Patrick Mahomes' wife. All these other women who are married or dating these athletes, they're building their brand. So if the guy does leave, hey, I've already got millions now. You know, they're building their brand. What does Brittany Mahomes do? She was a soccer player, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's bigger on social media than Patrick Mahomes now, right?
Yeah. But see, Craig, to your point though, Craig, they've been together since high school though. I think that makes a difference.
Yeah. And then again, you know, I'm just saying from that standpoint, these like Daryl said, it's a different time now. They know that they can make that money on social media. And if they put themselves out there to build the brand now, they'll be okay in the future. You know, because
don't do it, Travis. Don't do it.
You don't want to get it.
Hey, Trav, we good, man. Travis, we good. We good.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
20 years
we
old.
don't know. We don't know the whole inner workings of someone's relationship, and I'll tell you, the drinking part really concerns me.
It's trouble.
And you know, if the men around him, friends around him, are trying to show that there's some red flags here you gotta look at, there comes a point to where you honestly have to say nothing. And give him the chance to see the red flags for himself. So people can be rebellious. The more you can try to tell someone that this is a bad idea, they'll defend the idea, and then it gets to a point where they'll do it just to try to prove you wrong. So now you end up being stuck in a relationship longer than you should have been because you didn't want to hear people say, "I told you so," and your ego gets involved. So, you know, if she's got red flags, the only one who needs to see them is him, and he's not going to make a move until he sees it and recognizes it. So it may be time to get out of his way and say nothing. If you bring up an issue, let's say that sucks. What are you going to do about it?
He did state it. So I'll let you go. Real quick. So, but he did state that Coach Prime did try to talk to him out of it.
Okay.
But,
all right. Okay.
So.
See, I look at
guys, and Darren talking about some 4.0 GPA. Go ahead, so.
There's so much wrong with that whole equation that it makes my head hurt. Whether she is actually drinking or not, that is too much. Her saying she never was into him and now she is too much. I mean, at 20 years old and however old she is, this does not need to be their focus. They do not need the world to be dumping into their business, this, that, and the other. Okay, so to mirror this in the name of a song, same script, different cast. Yep. The only thing that is different is the time that we are in the manner in which they are doing things.
Yep.
The problem is that we all know at our mature and wise ages, we know that these kids are not as mentally, emotionally resilient as we were. So this, to me, is a train wreck. If that was my child, I would say, look, I need you to step back and think about this. Do you want a woman who's out here drinking and doing this and talking about you, this, that, and the other? How does that make you feel? Tell me how that makes you feel. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. I want you to explain to me how that makes you feel. And then I want you to think about what you just told me. I want you to be honest with yourself. Don't be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. And the other thing is, I hope that this relationship does not produce children because it is very toxic.
Oh, you know it is.
Well, see,
I hope
that's where I'm gonna say my little last piece, and I'm gonna jump off this because, I'm
Yeah,
a really,
4.0.
yeah, I'm gonna press that. I'm gonna press that because I'm of the belief that when I see somebody and I see their academic prowess, I mean, like academically. So I went and looked this guy's, this guy's academically sound. And I know how the culture works. I know how social media, I know how people sometimes have prompted me to get into conversations and they know because it's going to trend. These things are going to trend conversation. There's no way this guy could not know with all of the media and the people he got behind him, and he's on Twitch and he's having conversations about how his girl was upset. And man, I look at this is all, that's to me, that's media. And that's like what we got to do to kind of, that's business. That's par for the course. That's par for the course. Because other than that, you got the Heisman, and you got that, and then what's going to happen? It's not like you earning making chips. You still gotta use everything that you can do to try to leverage value for yourself. And I don't think they're beyond doing that. Or I had to have people around them that's coaching them in how to do it.
B, let me say this.
But I just hope that if that's the case, if that is the case, I just hope that them two kids have the mindset to comprehend that fully and not get caught up into it, because you may have people around there coaching you, say, hey, this is going to get you the attention, this is going to build your brand, this, that, and the other. But what if that does not work? What if her methods of trying to build a brand, this, that, and other, what if that just does not work for her? What if, with his academic prowess, this, that, and other, let's say he does not go to the NFL. Let's just say he wants to be a regular guy, pursue a job in his degree. And what if she does not like that? Then what?
Yeah, you're 100% right. And like I said, I wouldn't find, there's no defect in anything you said. There's another side to it, and that other side is just simply that could be the alternative world that they're looking at of how they're going to create something in case I don't go to the NFL. How can we leverage the value of what we have right now? And people think like that. People in the light, and they say, you don't know how long this light gonna be here, so let me try to exploit myself, even to the point of doing things like Jay Moran, doing things just stupid. So people do things sometimes because of the value of what they think that they're going to be able to get trending and other things of that nature, and how they're going to rep themselves and make themselves look and try to escalate themselves up. I don't think the people sometimes are stupid. I think they do stupid things because they think this is the way to get to the top. It's a pathway for them, and I'm not necessarily thinking that this is kind of beyond the scope of their ability to do so. That's what I mean. Escalate themselves up. I don't think the people. Other than that, they, it's like stupid. It's like, to the top. It's a pathway for them.
Yeah,
I need Daryl to be my media guy if I ever make it.
I say this, hey, listen, he's got people around him out. They say their piece, say the red flags, ask questions, get them thinking. And like I said before, sometimes you just gotta say your piece and step back and he's a smart guy. Let him be smart and just let it kind of twirl his head.
You know, a lot of smart people don't have common sense, right?
Yeah.
I know plenty of them.
I've seen, if you keep bringing something up over and over and over again to somebody, the ability for them to see it for themselves gets diminished, because then they want to defend against what you said, and they end up believing the defense, and they're not seeing the same things you're seeing. So that's why I'm saying, say what you gotta say, show these red flags, ask those questions. But at some point, we gotta be quiet and pray that he sees it sooner than later and takes the actions he needs to take. One last thing before we move on. Cool. So, final question: this: should there be a prenup?
Hell yeah!
Yeah. And if she disagree with it, she need the one.
Should be a prenup.
She don't be getting on.
Ace that. Prime, like, you know what, Trav? I'm gonna take you to my lawyer. You know, yeah.
Him get a lawyer, she get a lawyer, let them work it out.
She's working on her brand now. She gonna have something.
Yeah, and hopefully they're building something together. And everything will be all right.
She's trying to justify their relationship by saying, you know, he wasn't my type in the beginning.
That man had a
I think all that conversation. Now that's what made me believe. All right, this is the game. This is the game. Because when I heard that was a trigger right there. That was like, all right, okay, yeah, they're being coached.
He doing a good job. The first person he thanked was his fiance. He didn't say he didn't thank God or his mama first. He said he thanked his fiance.
Hey.
I said, God damn, boy. And let's go on to the next subject.
That's it.
Hey, that couch
my
is hot.
NBC story. Yeah,
that couch is hot over there, man. I said that couch is hot today.
Man.
All right, guys. What you want to discuss, Darryl? I know some things you want to talk about from the last time, from 2 weeks ago.
No, man, y'all can keep it flowing. Y'all keep it open, man. I can't remember that. I remember we were talking before. We were talking about. One thing I did check out. So one thing I did wanted to bring up. We was talking before about it being a riot or what you call it. And
that's what we
Yeah, I did some research on that, and even facts.org, everybody proclaims it was a riot, you know, as opposed to, even if you go to facts.org, they deal with it as a riot, not necessarily. And my point that I was trying to make, like I said, I gotta be careful sometimes when I'm talking, because I don't want people thinking that I'm swaying on one side or the other. I just really believe that the Republicans do it too. But the Democrats are really good at doing it. It's not even the Democrats doing it good. It's liberals are really good at putting the spin on stuff and figuring out, people got, whether it's abortion issues and all of a sudden abortion turns into, we're going to put that don't sound right? Because, you sound like, you're killing babies. So you take abortion and you open up the washing machine, you throw abortion in there, put some bleach and some fabric softener, and you let it spin around, and you get reproductive rights.
Yep.
So it's a way of ease. It's a way of getting something so people don't have to deal with cognitive dissonance. They don't have to deal with that, because even as African Americans, and we dealing with, no matter who, whether you a dude paying for it or whether you're a female that's having it, it's that's that hit home for us. It's a spot for us that we're sensitive about. We have a repentant heart about, and we just don't look at it in the same way. So now you got a culture of people that's like, oh no, it's this. We don't. That's not how we think. I can't tell me how many brothers that I know, myself, people that we peeled out that money because that's something that we don't want to do. That's something that I'm not proud of. I don't want to boast about it, but it's situations that we have gone through. We've seen our women go through. But this idea of reproductive, how you gonna give somebody reproductive rights? They already got the rights. That don't even make sense. Like how you gonna give somebody the right to reproduce? They already got the right to reproduce. No, what you saying is the right to terminate.
Yeah. So
you just put a spin on it. It's just a spin. And so same thing. So that's what I'm not using that to get into that argument. I'm using that to show that that's what liberal media does. They spin stuff.
Jay, I'm gonna jump on you now. You already know. Hey, it's time to rumble.
Go ahead.
It wasn't an insurrection, right? Definition of insurrection: a violent uprising against an authority or a government. What word does not describe what they did?
It's not organized. It wasn't organized.
It wasn't organized. They made it. They made a statement. It was organized. The Trump team, and the money that they received, they bust people in, and they flew some people in. That's organization.
Yeah, but no, but an insurrection, an insurrection is you see what happens in an insurrection. You're looking to take control of the military.
No,
insurrections don't happen. You just don't go in a place and just because you charging in there and whatever. Like what were they going to do? There's no
a violent uprising against an authority or a government. What word doesn't describe what they did?
Okay, I can also say the definition of a riot is a violent disturbance of the peace by a crowd.
Yeah. So that's what a riot is.
Hey,
So that's exactly
what a riot is. So we can say that the riot turned into an insurrection because we know that this was an insurrection.
No. It turns into an insurrection.
They talked about hanging government officials. Am I right?
Oh, they talked about it. They hang nobody.
They had the news. They had the stuff.
Listen. Then make sure you don't go online and talk about doing nothing.
Hold on. They had what they needed. They built this thing for this hanging.
No, come on, Craig. You reach it, man. You reach it. Washington Post.
Hey, then there was a paramilitary group. There was a group of guys walking upstairs. They had their hands on each other's shoulder like they were actually in the military. Some of them in prison right now. So they were organized.
That's not an organized. Well, listen. We know what an insurrection is. Y'all know what an insurrection is.
You know why I know what it looks like? Because I saw it.
No, that wasn't no insurrection. That was a riot.
So let me ask you this. Was the same group that was paramilitary government, was that the same group building the loose and the hanging tower? Were they the same group or were they two different groups?
That was a different group doing that. Yeah, that was a different group doing that. Yeah.
So we had two different groups doing two different things.
People in.
You had two different organizations. And that's why I gotta say it's right. You had two different organizations doing two different things. They both had the same goal in mind, but they weren't really going towards the same thing. You had two groups that wanted to do the same thing, but they weren't communicating and working with each other. They just happened to be doing these two acts that coincided with the same purpose.
Yeah,
but that wasn't the plan.
An insurrection is when if there was paramilitary force seizing power to make sure that the president had control of the military, that is an insurrection. That's your definition. Storming the Capitol. Storming the Capitol was a violent in a riot. There's violence. There's so to turn it into an insurrection to make that statement is, like I said, that statement when you take all of the major conservative, nonpartisan sources out there. What I'm saying is this: the only one spinning it that way is liberal media. Nobody else, none of the other media concerns are even
I'm not spinning it. I'm being real because that definition says nothing about paramilitary.
Listen.
You would have
never used insurrection if you ain't hear it.
Hey, no.
It was framed for you.
Hey,
it was framed for you.
I need everybody pull it up
line in the water.
I want y'all to see it says paramilitary. It says nothing about paramilitary. He's making up this. Hey, I'm gonna call you Webster from now on.
I think you know, regardless of the source of the definition, because it doesn't have to be liberal, conservative, independent, whatever. Because like while y'all were talking, I was just clicking here. But you know, I came across one thing that said insurrection means a violent uprising by a group or movement acting for the specific purpose of overthrowing the constituted government and seizing its powers. They tried to seize the powers of the House to not count those votes, certify those votes. That's what they tried to do. Now, we can jockey the definition.
Okay, but go back and read the definition again. Go back and read the definition again, because you did a quick application. You did an application of the definition.
No. So my point was, Webster has its definition and 3 tabs under it. Merriam has it. You know, we can look everywhere for and find definitions of this, but then we'll look at the act itself and say, well, that wasn't an insurrection, or yes, that was an insurrection. The point is, this violent mob trying to stop the votes from being certified. I mean,
okay, so let me ask you a question.
Ask me, that's
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. 3 days ago, I'm reading right now. The FBI will not call it an insurrection. They only call it a Capitol riot. FBI didn't have undercover agents at the January 6th Capitol riot and didn't stoke it. The whole Wall Street Journal stopped calling January 6th an insurrection. So the media, like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the neutral things, they wasn't saying any before, because you got to remember, MSNBC and CNN was spinning that. No, they just kind of sat on the sideline. But here's what's happening now. Right now, you can go in there and even back in 2022, where the Wall Street Journal says, you can go Google the article, stop calling it an insurrection. And they have lawyers that are breaking it down and explaining to you why it's not. So if you keep saying something, and that's why I gave the example of a woman's right to choose, a woman, how they spin stuff. It's a spin.
What did Mitch McConnell call it?
What did he call it?
Yeah, he was there. What did he call it?
Yeah, he called it. First he said riot, then he went to insurrection.
Yes, he did. He was there.
Yeah.
He was a part of it.
Yeah, because
none of them FBI agents were there.
Because listen what I'm saying. Right, wrong, or indifferent, the FBI, if you go in to their materials, they do not classify it. Why don't they classify it in their materials as an insurrection? Why do they classify it as Capitol riot?
Well,
if
we
you
all
go Google
know they're going to classify whatever they want to classify.
Come on, man.
How they classify JFK murder?
They know legally it's not.
How they classify what they say about his murder?
What? About whose murder?
Exactly. What they say.
About whose murder?
Yeah,
about who?
About his murder?
Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking
about. JFK. What did the FBI say about
JFK
murder?
Oh, about JFK's murder?
Yeah.
It was assassination.
They're going to do what they're going to do.
No, they said it was assassination.
To protect the community, protect society.
No, they said it was an assassination.
Words out there because what's his name? James Comey said insurrection. He was in charge of the FBI.
Yeah, but listen. That's not now. I'm talking about
not now. Of course, they're going to change that. They're going to help those people.
Okay. Do you? Okay.
Trump. That's why they say he can do whatever he wants. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to say whatever they. Let me tell you something. They're going to say whatever they can say to appease certain people. And if they can appease the public by saying, "Oh, whoa, it wasn't an insurrection." Oh, whoa.
No, come on.
Yeah, they're going to do this.
The liberal, okay.
Do this.
When did
Craig, when I first said this to you, I said this. I said, here's what I said to you. I said, can you steel man? You know what it is to steel, but you know straw man is an argument and steel man, right? If you can't steel man the other side's argument to understand what that argument is, meaning that you validly, and what I'm saying is this, is that how things are framed in the media. It's just like right now with the drones. The drones that are moving.
I want to ask y'all about that next.
Yeah. So one of the things that people don't realize that with the drones is moving is what's happening right now. Like all of a sudden, okay, what happened when Trump was going in office before? What issue came up?
Oh, he's stupid.
What came up right before he went into office? And then right into January, we had a pandemic.
Okay.
It started around.
Yeah.
It started in November.
Yeah.
So you don't see any similarities to like, okay, well, now all of a sudden Ukraine got missiles that's going into. Now all of a sudden we seeing drones, we seeing activity. You see, what I'm saying is this: if you can't see beyond how the media is spinning stuff, and I'm not saying that I'm right, but I'm saying is that be totally objective, the objective viewpoint, and the objective viewpoint is simply this. Well, but what's happening now? Why is Biden releasing people, pardoning people that you and I know that he should have never been pardoning?
They all
some
do
of those people. No. There's certain people on that list. There's certain people on that list that was that one judge that was putting them kids in jail. How do you justify that?
You don't.
So what I'm saying is that
how do you justify How do you justify a federal judge if they're caught bribery or anything of that nature? All they have to do is resign, and the investigation goes away. How do you justify that?
Well, listen. I'm not trying to justify that. Here's what's saying. I'm not trying to justify anything that anybody does. What I'm saying is this. Listen, saying this. All I'm saying is this. I'm not buying into. This is my point. I'm not buying into the liberal media's perspective and how they phrase something to make something look. Because and that's my point. That's my point. It's the framing.
I can understand that. But when they first said insurrection, I knew what the definition was, but I went and looked it up again. So they can spin it all they want, but the definition is clear. You can't whitewash that. You can't take it out. It's already been there. They can't take it out anymore. It's there. So with it being there, understand the words. Words have meaning. Violent. Overthrow. Knowing that there's government. Nancy, I'm coming to kill you. Pence, we're gonna hand you.
I think you put some. I think you put a whole bunch of sugar in that boy.
Oh, hey, this is real.
They were saying that.
This is real.
They were saying that.
Yeah,
that was saying the crowd, but
yeah. Hey, we all know. And if that was African Americans coming up in there, I may be postulating, but I think there would have been a lot more killing going on.
Yeah, well, I think here's what I think. I like you gotta remember. The first time I never cared for Trump. I don't understand. I think that he's a disruptor. That's what I think. I think a lot of people that voted for him don't really care for him. They just want to see a dismantling of the current system. That's what my opinion is. That's my opinion. People just fed up with it. They don't believe in the system anymore. And so they're looking for anybody that's going to go in there and disrupt. They don't care whether Trump is for him. Listen, they don't care whether he's conning people, whether he's for himself. As long as he can go in there and like, for example, like I said before, if you going into the jungle, you ain't sending no civilized person in there. You sending an animal. Yeah. You ain't sending somebody.
He is that, but he'll hide his hand. Everybody around him, he'll hide his hand. And here's my thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but when people sometimes got choices to make when they're trying to do something and they're trying to dismantle, I think that's where you're going to get a lot of that from, and that's why I think that a lot of the pushback from him because other than that, I think because he's a disruptor was the reason why COVID and everything else went the way it went, because they just knew that he's not going to get on board. He was always in opposition. He wasn't in opposition. Every president's got on board. Listen, we have expectations of Obama. You can't tell me African Americans didn't have expectations of a black president coming in now and things were going to change and things were going to be different. But they weren't different because they slide into a system. And when they're in that system and when they're in there and their eyes is open and they see all of the stuff, that the economy, the way of life that in this country, all of those dreams and aspirations they had, they got to get on board. They got to get on board. And then when you got somebody like him that wasn't getting on board, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily saying I'm for it or against it. I'm really not. I really take the role of being an observer.
Okay, I observe this.
So hold on, Craig. Craig, I want to say this. I want to break this down to everyone that don't understand this political talk that Daryl's talking about in layman's terms. So pretty much America is Young Thug and Trump is Little Woody. Okay, so I'm serious.
Hey, you thought long and hard about that.
All right, just so people that understand, if you understand the Young Thug and Little Woody, that's what Daryl's saying. All right, carry on, Craig. Go ahead.
Hey, here's my thing.
That's perfect.
The man will. I mean, he throws things out there to see who's going to grasp on it. And if you don't, he'll backpedal. He won't say he's backpedaling, but he'll Michael Jackson it. When you look at somebody and they're the professional and you tell them, can't we inject some bleach? And that person looks at him and say, I wish I could crawl under a table. And because you don't capitulate, Now he hates you. He's coming after you like a child, like a petulant child. You understand? The man has no policies. You understand? The one policy that he did was enacting the tax break, but that tax break was minuscule for the everyday worker. The corporations got huge benefits, and then it ends for the everyday American, everyday worker in 2025, but not for the corporations.
Yeah, well, see, what you're saying don't flesh out in the numbers, though. The data don't show that.
But what I'm saying is that's real.
You can say that, but you can say that, but that's what you do. You say these things that you like. What you're doing?
But that's real. All they have to do is open their eyes and educate. They say, "What is it,
Craig? You can get 30. You can get that same $30 million that Rachel Maddow get on MSNBC, man, and you will be a great correspondent because the talking points.
The average worker is not getting that. We both know that. They got $5-6 extra dollars, and then what I'm saying is he did this to appease corporations, not the everyday citizen. Trump don't give a damn about an everyday citizen. Excuse my language. And we know this. He doesn't. But to do what they're saying they're doing, and it's already started. And I said this last week. I figured you were going to talk to me about it. Where they're going to start paying people for overtime pay who work overtime. That's their initiative. That's what they said during their conversation, and it's already started. A federal judge has already.
Well, I'm gonna get. Here's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get X to do and commit to. We're gonna have a once a month political on Miller Experience, or once a month. Once a month at the end of the month, we're gonna come and do a summary, and then we're gonna see where we are. Game time is going to be 2025, and we're going to see the stuff you're talking. We're going to see what the stats are.
I'm down.
We're going to put it to work. We're going to see.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, Darryl, earlier you brought up, I wanted to talk about this. Earlier you brought up the drones. What's you guys' thoughts on this? I know a lot of people, I know they saw one in Paxville just last week. They're seen all over the country. What you guys think of these drones?
I think the military. I think that's a military move. I mean, people want to. I get the whole UFO thing because the theory of the UFO is kind of the anomaly. Because see, what happens is that unless you watch C-SPAN, you will never see Congress. See, if you watch C-SPAN, like I watch C-SPAN, so I watch C-SPAN, and I'm like, yo, they in here talking about UFOs and UFO sightings, and they got Navy generals and people in there. You don't see this stuff on regular news.
No.
Yeah.
Hysteria.
Yeah. So the thing is that there are things that are unknown, but at the same time, this whole drone situation, and when it pops up, that's the thing that's kind of getting me, because they're saying now it could be nuclear. These things are sniffing out, detecting nuclear because of it's a known fact that one of the Russian, when Russian had the dismantling of the back in the 80s or something, when they had the dismantling of the nuclear arms race, one of those nuclear warheads went missing. So now they're trying to say, but it's once again propaganda. We don't know whether it's true or not, because you don't know how the CIA in this country works. Yeah. And like I said
earlier,
right. So my thing is that misinformation is so great that you can speculate all day long, but one of the things that gets me is the timing in which this stuff is done.
Yeah,
that's what getting me, because see, they've been talking about UFOs in Congress for a minute.
Yeah,
for a minute. This is not like just brand new, but now all of a sudden, all of a sudden they take a paranormal situation, and I think that they're creating something. That's all. That's what I think.
They know that Big Mouth is gonna tell everything. He's gonna tell everything.
No, he already spoke on it. He
want them to release things.
No. That's not what he said. Doing a real. No, he had a real interview.
Talking about the JFK. They talked him out of it. They begged him, please don't do this. Here's why. Boom, boom, boom. They talked to him. They said they talked to him. They cornered him. Please don't do this, because he said he would do it. This is one of the first. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
Who,
They
JFK?
begged him not to do it. They begged him. They
Oh, he
begged
ain't gonna
him.
have to do it. Cash Patel is gonna do it. He's gonna get it done.
Oh yeah.
He's ex CIA and FBI, so he knows the inner workings. That's why I said the whole thing is to go in there and to turn that whole thing upside down.
See,
That's why he bringing.
Here's the thing. Some things people don't need to know. Hysteria is real.
Mhm.
Hysteria is real. You know, some people don't need to know certain things. we all know that.
Yeah. Okay, but look at this though. How do you get people to panic anytime you want to get control of people? Anytime you get control of people, you
And
need
Trump
to get
is good at
people in
that.
a state- No,
Trump is
listen
good
what
at
I'm saying. No, listen.
He creates panic.
Trump didn't create the pandemic.
No.
Oh.
But he damn sure didn't do anything to help it.
Trump magnifies panic.
I think what Daryl's about to go with that. I think the media creates calamity. Try to when they want to control people, the media try to scare people.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Daryl. I'm
control
sorry.
the media.
No, go ahead. No,
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's media, and the thing about it is you're gonna have to watch how it played out. Like I saw how that COVID thing played out. How they had people, you know, I watched them on the news. You don't care about people, your neighbor. If you don't get the vaccine, if you don't care about people, and you know how they was sending people on guilt trips. If you don't get it, protect people, and then later on the information come out. Even if you get the vaccine, you still can get it.
Yeah.
Then you're like, really? Why y'all didn't know that up front? Like, you know, but they said, but yeah, get it, because if you get it, everybody's gonna be inoculated. Nobody could. But then now all of a sudden, the whole thing changed. It's like, yo, man, they put people through that, but I think that's I think things like that are trial runs.
Yeah, it was trial.
I think they testing the market, they testing where people are. You know,
they've been doing that since the beginning of penicillin.
Yeah.
Huh?
They've been doing that since the beginning of penicillin.
Yeah. And so, you know what it is? They ain't concerned about the people not trusting them. All they concerned about is propaganda, moving people and getting people stirred up. That's why I said that. Yeah, and getting paid and making sure that their coffers align. And that's why I said at the end of the day that in some type of way, this whole system, in order for it to turn, is going to have to be disrupted in some type of way, just like in business. That's why, you know, certain businesses are disruptor businesses. You know, social media has jacked up. Let me say one thing and let me bounce off of that. Social media has jacked up online media with Joe Rogan and podcasts and other things that has jacked these guys up. They don't know what to do now.
Control media. I mean, control chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have some type of control within the chaos. Not flying by the seat of your pants when you're actually doing things that's disruptive. Have an idea, have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem to have a plan when he says things. It's like off the cuff. And then they're trying to do they're scrambling. Like for one thing, healthcare. Oh, I'm gonna have the best healthcare there ever was. And Barbara Walters, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, she wasn't supposed to get the book, but she got her hands on the book because it fell and there were blank pieces of paper. Damn it, if you got a plan, have a plan. Have something. Don't just kill something to be a disruptor when so many people are going to be without healthcare. And let's put it out there. Affordable Care Act. What insurance do Congress have? And I say this time and time again. The Gold Star Affordable Care Act. So it's good enough for you, but it's not good enough for everyday citizens.
Yeah, and the other thing about disrupting, some things need to be disrupted, but a business is totally different from a country. You just can't go in and just shake the whole government up and allow things to fall in place. We don't want to be living in Hunger Games or something like that. Like you just can't go in there and just burn the whole thing down and try to rebuild it. You can't do that. I mean, we know what happened with the extinction of dinosaurs and stuff. It took forever for the planet to get back to normal. So you talking about shaking up. You talk about shaking up the greatest country on the planet. I mean, you got to go in there with a plan. You got to be systematic.
But you got to realize this too, though. There's people economically. Don't think that Trump, for example, is not saying a lot of this stuff because he understands the economics of China. If you know BRICS, I don't know whether you follow BRICS. You follow the monetary. So you follow the market, so you know what's going on with the particularly devaluing of the dollar if the currency in Europe and the world changes, and BRICS is actually able to introduce their currency. So you got to understand that this whole weather balloon, all of the stuff that even Trump's position against China has to do with that. But a lot of the economical things that's in this country, like, so for example, the media right now, you know, somebody like a Rachel Maddow who gets $30 million, is a news reporter really worth $30 million? Or they got people that's puppeteering the smokescreen agendas that ain't really agendas. They just like DEI. It, to me, when I look at the data, because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm gonna look at the data and I'm gonna see the studies and see as it has a lasting impact and an effect. And I see that, yo, man, this is a whole industry. Yo, this is I think it's like $400 billion industry that they put in place to start employing people that when you look at the data hasn't produced what the amount of money that people have been able to make in the industry. So I think that once again, to me, DEI was a liberal thing. It was a liberal thing. And then people, yeah, we need that. We need inclusions. We need but these things are smoke screens to create avenues of wealth and revenue. And I think people just get on board with it because they say they need it. All you got to do is sell something. You package it and you sell it. But you don't really understand the industry. Look at the numbers behind it. Look at the numbers that DEI has generated as a business.
I don't think.
I got something. You keep saying Rachel Maddow. What about Sean Hannity?
Oh yeah, I know. No. Listen, all of them. All of them.
Saying,
okay, all of them. No. Listen.
He's just putting out lies.
Listen, I don't listen. Sean is a hack. I'm not dealing with the hacks. I was dealing with the influential ones. I was looking at the ones that most African American people look up to.
You're being judgmental.
African American people, but you know, we both know.
I'm not talking about those hacks over in Fox News, and you know, I told you what I think about them before. So don't.
Their news.
As I said,
for their news.
Yeah, but he's a hack. Everybody, I'm talking to mostly our people who already, they don't even like that anyway. But I need to say to them, listen to the people that are selling you and what they're selling you and getting you emotionally enraged. Like somebody like a Joy Reid going on and telling people that they shouldn't be having Thanksgiving with their family if the family voted in this particular way. No, who does that?
Yeah.
To get people emotionally. You get people emotionally, so and then people get like that. People get emotionally off-centered. Man, for years, people have, and even black people, they're not monolith. They have one side, another side, and we disagree, we argue, we will debate, but we don't be like, I ain't gonna have nobody over for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm like, we ain't never got to that point as a people. So I'm dealing with, that's why I'm talking about the liberals, because that's their movement. Their movement is always getting people enraged.
I will say this. Mm-hmm. Conservatives are fearmongers. You know, we keep talking about because the liberals, conservatives are fearmongers. They have been doing this forever.
All of them. Listen, like I said, I'm not trying to. That's why I said I want you to hear me from this particular point. Don't think because I'm leaning in that left with my arrow shooting over there that I'm saying that these people over here are good and this is a better way to go. I'm not saying that. Don't think by no chance.
I'm listening to this guy. He threatens. He talks about our military. Mm-hmm. You know, he has no respect for them. He said that. You understand? But yet you want them to protect you. You know, that's like biting the hands that feed you. In other words, biting the hand that protects you. You know, you're disgusted by them because they're captured in war. Something you know nothing about. Something you avoided.
And see, when I hear you say that, Craig, let me just stop you for a second. When I hear you say that, that is the media hyperbole that I think that, here's what I'm saying, that I think that goes on the liberal media when I know is a fact. Yo, I don't care what that guy say. He ain't never gonna be able to do nothing to the United States military that's gonna stop them from protecting this country. So it's a bunch of hype. So all they trying to do is get me angry.
No. I never said anything about that. So dumps on them. he talks about how, you know, they're, in other words, he doesn't respect them. You understand? I mean, to designate the graveyard of, where did he go? The Arlington?
Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
You understand
Yep,
what I'm saying? He just has no respect, zero respect for people who give their lives for this country. You understand what I'm saying? That's the thing that I have issues with. And not only has he talked about it, but he's made fun of, you know, people who are handicapped, retarded, as he says. I mean, he's just the epitome of evil to me, in my opinion. You understand? I mean, would you want your child to look at that and want to be that? No, absolutely
But I wouldn't.
not.
But you know what? You know what I wouldn't want? Who I voted for and who I love. I won't want my son to be like Obama.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this damn question. Well, why not? I mean, from a standpoint of the gentleman,
And I voted for him. No, and I voted for him twice.
He could have went into so many different things, but he went into helping people. He could have made a lot of money being a lawyer or whatever have you. But the man went into public service.
So why is that, Darryl?
Because my expectations, the only thing that we got out of Obama, my son grew up with Obama when he was in a predominantly white school in New Jersey, and my son was in school with Dr. Oz's kids. So I can tell you the type of school he went to. He played football with Oz's kids.
Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah. So the only problem I had, the thing that I think that Obama did was Obama showed a generation of young black men. That's the only benefit that we got out of that. They was able to see the level that they could aspire to. I think that he broke the barrier, the ceiling barrier, but other than his ability to effectively change and to create a different culture, to influence the culture in a positive way of African Americans, not necessarily by going and giving us reparations, but basically being able to represent our community as all other communities, as all presidents has represented their communities, whether it be Asian communities like Kamala Harris, who made sure that she had the Asian crime bill, right? We still ain't got no crime bill. We still don't have nothing. And so when Obama was in office, my expectations was not like the giveaways, but it was to make sure that African Americans understood. I spent a lot of time trying to educate African Americans on the fact that when he put forth the you could actually raise money through crowdfunding, because Black people missed the boat on that. Millions of dollars they lost out because it was a way to capitalize our businesses that we weren't educated on. And there was nothing that he put together that helped people. So I found myself scrambling with some brothers and people trying to do stuff up north to try to educate people and trying to write letters to try to find out why aren't they having programs that really help people understand, especially in other areas, of how crowdfunding can really help Black people get funding for their businesses and to be able to for their ventures. So we didn't benefit from most of the stuff that he did. Was like, we were in it, everybody else did, but he did nothing for our people per se. And I think I think he dropped the ball on it. And that's why a lot of African Americans to this day, even with him coming out, his political weight ain't the same. And no matter what people say, people ain't feeling him like that. They're not feeling him. And I wasn't feeling him like that as well, too, because I saw the ball that he was dropping. Because I was one of the ones that was trying to do something with a group of guys to make sure, but we had no funding to do that. We tried to appeal to get funding, to let people know, hey, yo, this legislation is crazy to Obama just like, yo, open the door, because you couldn't raise money unless you filed a Reg D. You had to have money to get funding. You can go out there and crowdfund. Y'all know about the stuff now. But back then, when it first opened, when that door opened, people weren't educated and trained and to do that, and they knew African Americans weren't slow, because we never got capital like that. So there's a lot of things, and that's just one of the things. And there's a lot of things that Obama didn't do that I think that he could have did, that he didn't do because he wanted to be neutral. He wanted to show that he's a president for all Americans. So he had to kind of take that his African American, his heritage, and kind of put it on the shelf and be. And that's the thing about being black. Sometimes I got to be for everybody. Where everybody else comes in office and they do something to represent their people.
So hold on, Darren. That sounds like the first topic we had that you disagreed on. A black man ain't helping out another black man.
What do you mean? Explain that.
So you saying pretty much, I'm trying to make a joke out of it, but pretty much what you were saying, how you felt like Obama didn't, long story short, you feel like how Obama didn't support the black did anything for the black community. He did for everybody else. He tried to do for everybody else because he just didn't want to be a black president. He wanted to be one president, right? So pretty much I was just saying, trying to make a joke, but obviously went left, about the first topic we had about, blacks not supporting each other.
Oh, okay. So you trying to do a parallel?
I would have to say he did. Everybody.
Yeah, pretty.
He didn't support one side. Again,
because you said that was crying.
The president's supposed
you said that was crying. So that's why I said that. So
a president's supposed to be a president for everyone. So I fully understand that. And to me, again, the handouts.
And I agree.
All we need is to level the playing field to get our foot in the door. We know what to do. We understand how to do it.
No, we don't know what to do because you said that also. And going back to what Ernie just says, you says that our people don't, like, for example, when we talk about networking and doing things of that nature, our people don't know this. They don't know. They don't know how to. They just go into business and they don't know what they should be. Like Ernie may know what to do, and he may have some validity to his story. But
I said we're doers. We're doers. A lot of them don't understand from the educational standpoint. That's
well, that's what I meant.
All of us collectively come in to help each other out. Now, again, and I make this argument all the time. The president is for everyone. He can only do but so much. It's the community. It's the community outreach, the lower level government that we need to pounce on and say, hey, this is what we need. Their job is to get up there and get it done. Our job is to show this is what we need. How do we get it? Again, him being up here 30,000 feet, he's only going to see and be able to do but so much. Because as you know, there's so many levels to this. And I'll give you an example. I met a brother, and I can't say at the state capitol. I'm not going to say what state it was. He was a lobbyist. He's a brother. And he's the top lobbyist, making millions, upon millions of dollars. And I asked him, I said, hey, you're a lobbyist. I said, well, what do you typically lobby for? He said, anything that they ask him to lobby for. I said, let me ask you a question. What if it doesn't help the people as a community? And he said, well, it's my job to lobby. And I said, well, what does that entail? If it's going to hurt the people, but it's going to help a corporation or whoever you're lobbying for, you're okay with that? He said, it's my job.
I had a conversation.
I don't think people understand that.
I had a conversation with someone in the state house about that too.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that Obama didn't do some things. Like, he did the thing for the black farmers. There's some things that you can go in there and look that Obama did legislatively. But what I'm saying is that when we think about the knowledge that we have, like we got to go into discovery mode. Like the Asians didn't have to go into discovery mode. We got to go dig. So if any one of you need to find out anything, I know what Obama did do. I know other things that he did do, but I had to go dig for it. Yeah, I had to go dig and looking for it, which means that it's like under the table type of stuff. And, he did $1.2 million to black farmers. But then I want to know, well, how did that go? Did they get all the money? What did they do with it? What was it for? What was the agriculture for? Was it money to help put people in farming? See, there's no details on that, so I gotta go keep digging to find out, because there's things that he tries to respond to after the fact. And so anytime you feel like you gotta come and you gotta, like, after the fact, after you've been in office and after you hear all this, and now you gotta run campaigns to go put together stuff to try to show black people what you did for them, which meant that, well, Where was the knowledge of this? It's like other communities, whether it's the Jewish community, whether it's the Asian community, those presidents and those people, when Ukraine get that money, everybody know Ukraine get that money to help those people. And so when I'm talking about helping and making an impact, it's like you can't do that stuff under the table if you are doing it, and then turn around years later and try to tell us, well, these are some of the things we did, when we can't even track it and trail it. And so that's why I feel like that he wasn't effective. He wasn't effective. He couldn't.
I think it's messaging. The Democrats, they have an issue with messaging. They do not know how to tout their, accomplishments.
Yeah, that's my complaint.
They don't do it.
Yeah, they don't know how to take a victory lap.
Yeah, they just don't.
Yeah, I think they don't know how to not only take a victory lap. I think that sometimes they need to have an agenda set forth that people can feel like they have a victory. Because I just saying, like, where we are right now as African Americans, I think that a lot of the social programs that were even constructed, we represent. I don't know what the percentage is. You guys can look. I know it's like 13 to 14% of the population when it comes down. So when people are pushing things like abortion, other things of that nature, we represent 40%. I think 47%.
Hey, well, Daryl, do you think that's when my main thing when it comes to any kind of election that local is more important than the presidential?
Yeah, I think I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah, I
really agree too. But I think that the role of the president is to set a national agenda that is in support of all of the diverse groups that his coalition that represents. So Black people came together in a coalition, and especially in the South, we moved in the South with Joe Biden because our senator, our congressman, Jim Clyburn, told us that's the way we should run. So we went with it. We went with Biden. So he got the Black popular vote because of Clyburn. And what I'm saying is that as a people, we don't see anything that we get when somebody's trying to get our vote, and we hear this over and over again, but nobody ever has to deliver. So it's almost like, well, you really ain't got to deliver anything to the people collectively, because like 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years, and you ain't giving nothing, so it ain't nothing gonna change now. They still gonna vote.
Hey, yeah. But let me say this: loan modifications. 2008. 2009, when people started losing their homes, Fannie, Freddie, everybody folding. Elon, what did Obama do? Obama said, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all these big corporations who do loans for these people, and he was aiming for Blacks. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to do loan modifications. If you have to do 1% to 2% to keep these people in their home, you have to do it. That was a program that he put in place. A lot of people didn't know about. But he put it in place on national television. People weren't listening. All they were thinking was, what is he going to do for me? What is he going to do for me? Well, he did this for us. He did it for everyone so that you can keep your home. But you're not paying attention. And banks were denying people if they didn't cross a T. And this is true. This isn't just me making up something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you didn't dot an I or cross a T, they were finding ways to say, oh, you weren't approved. And what I'm saying by you weren't approved is they would do this modification and wouldn't hear anything back. Mm-hmm. And then when they finally call them back after they're trying to take their home, they say, oh, well, you didn't do this on the application. Mind you, they didn't want to do it. Obama was making them do it. And then because they didn't do it correctly, he sued them, and they had to pay billions of dollars because they defrauded the people. You understand? And I know that there were corporations that I worked for. I'm gonna put it out there. Countrywide Home Loans. I worked for the subprime side of it before I moved into the prime. And we were doing loans, and I remember a young lady wanted a loan for $670,000. didn't have a job, went to University of Maryland. They came in my office and said, Craig, you have to do this loan. I said, well, no, we're not doing this loan. Are you silly? The FBI be on our case. We're doing a loan for somebody who don't even have a job. So I sent it back out of my office. Well, I get a phone call from the second man of the CEO, which I had just met 2 weeks prior, I believe it was. And I said, yeah, Mr. Sergeant, how are you? He said, oh, Craig, I just wanted to let you know it was great meeting you last week. It was 1 week. Last week, and I just wanted you to know that, you're doing a great job. I wanted to talk to you about a loan you have in your office. A loan you have to do. He brought up the name. I said, yeah, unfortunately, we can't do that loan because this person doesn't even have a job. He said, well, it's an FOA loan. I said, I'm sorry, could you please elaborate? Friends of Angelo. Angelo was the owner of the company.
Right.
So we had to do the loan because it was an FOA loan. How many people in Congress did I do loans for that were FOA loans? You understand? So when it came to the people losing their homes, these people had already had those type of loans, 1% and 2%. So Obama made it where, all right, we're going to level the playing field. We're going to make it where if anybody losing their home and they can show a legit reason that they're losing their home because of financial hardship or whatever have you, or they're upside down in their mortgage, you guys have to do a loan modification. And obviously the banks didn't want to do it, but they had to. So those are things that he did, but nobody talks about.
Yeah,
because they wanted to be labeled as for Black people.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the issue. The things that he did do for, like, the HP, like, for example, there's one thing that they said he did, and I think I read it, and it says that expanded the funding for HSBUs, right? But then when you start digging into expand, like that word, like, well, what do you mean expanded the funding? Like what does that really mean? Like, I know Trump, when he was in the office, he had the HSBUs in there, and he provided some additional funding for them with some other things. I can't remember what it was, but why do I hear Trump doing this, and then I got to go dig to find out that Obama did expanding, and I don't even know what expanded is. And so what I'm saying is this is the point I'm trying to make is this, is that because even if he did do it, the media, it had no value to them. So it's not important, because that constituent group, they don't really matter. Because if it really matters and they know how Black people feel, you're going to be eager. But why does he need to be silent? Why did he need to be silent about $1.2 billion that you did for Black farmers? Go Google it and look it up. I'm not making it up.
The gentleman who actually heads up the Black Farmers of America, he touted it, but he's one man. He's one man.
But
He was on because he's Virginia. He touted it. He talked about it. He consistently talked about it.
Well, I didn't listen. I only know about it because back then, like I said, I know what news I was watching. And when I was consuming news, in other words, what they did, what I pictured news was enraging me, getting me emotionally invested, but at the same time, not hearing anything that really represented me and my family and what's good for me. But getting me invested, getting me emotionally and sensitized into charged, better word, emotionally charged into things that don't really matter, that don't really have an impact in my life, and the things that can help me understand the nuances that Obama has done in executive orders, because that was most of the stuff was executive orders that he signed, that what he was doing to make a difference and even trying to portray it to the African American. Forget about Obama pandering. The left wasn't even pandering, because they never pander. They just sell. They sell to us. They sell to us, and we jump on board.
Think about what Biden did when he was trying to. Well, he is still doing it, where he's forgiving student loans. Who do you think that's targeting? They don't say it. It's targeting. And here's my thing. Here's that thing. Here's my thing. For those who said, nah, let's not forgive student loans. My money's not going to that. I'm not paying no money for that. Just that and other. Okay. You pay for a congressman who you didn't vote for, who you don't like. They get paid. You understand? They get paid. I didn't send that child to school. You're paying for congressmen and women, children to go to school. You're paying their salary. It's about leveling the playing field. We're smart. We're bright.
Yeah, I don't think you can level no playing field. I think what you could do is you can take that tractor out there and tear that playing field up. And then let's get together. Let's go build a new field. Let's go build a new field.
Fight, man.
You know what it is?
Sometimes you got to fight to give it to them, man.
I did say level the playing field.
We don't have to have
to go in. Hey,
we don't have.
Hey, Ernest. I said, if you level the playing field, we'll kick the door in. Dad want to blow the daggone building up.
Hey, bro.
Yeah. You got to use some furniture to blow the building up. Listen, once we blow the building up, then we go to X and say, what's trending? That's what we build on there.
Oh,
you know?
Man.
Hey, guys, let's go ahead and let's wrap it up. Let's go ahead and do a final thoughts, man. Let's start with Soul Touch.
Mm-hmm.
Got any final thoughts or anything?
No. I think my final thoughts would be on this what's his name, Travis Hunter kid. Parents out there, kids that are listening, don't use that as your role model. Keep your head straight. Build your resilience. Do what makes common sense. If there is such a thing still out there. And as far as, the Black community, we need to definitely reach out and reach in to build a strong community. Every community has its issues, but it just seems like more and more we're growing more and more apart, and we need to grow together in order to build. And I think that would be key to, our future. And stop relying heavily at the top when you have to build a foundation in order to grow. That's all I have.
Daryl.
I would echo Soul's not concerning Travis. I'll leave that alone. Because I don't want to get the GPA. I want to get that 4.0 diluted. But I think that Soul makes a valuable key point in realizing that as a community, a part of the, I'm a pastor, preacher, teacher. So obviously my people suffer for a lack of knowledge. And I think that when we have expectations and we don't manage those expectations with information, remember information is data. And that means that we now have access to data, access to people. I think that people got to know how to immerse themselves into the soil that they need to become fertile. Because, you could be a potent seed, but if you ain't got no soil, and soil is community, soil are people, infrastructure, and know how to train our young brothers and sisters how to become a part of the community effectively. We think that church is just some place that we go to kind of meet Jesus, but it's really where we go to meet each other. And it's where we go to build relationships and to know what people do. Ernie know that, down to Ebenezer, I've always been trying to encourage him to let people know what's going on with health. Give them opportunity to speak to health, to speak to concerns, speak to issues, take the things that we're good at, and to make sure that we let people know, like we press on them. Hey, listen, you guys need help with this, or come in and I want to talk about this, and make ourselves available in the community. And I think that's where transformation begins. That's when we see. And I think that, we need to begin that process of men using groups like this to make sure that guys hear this message, because that's a message of transformation that's going to help people to say, hey, wait a minute, I can do what he just said. And I think that's what the Miller Experience, shows like podcasts like the Miller Experience, while we're having fun, we're talking things, but I think we're trying to get people to open their eyes and to see, even when we disagree with each other, that they can see that we're still brothers. So that's my final thought.
Great.
Mine's gonna be short and sweet. Seek, speak, listen, seek knowledge, understanding of things that you're actually trying to accomplish. Speak to people who've paved the way, who've done this before, and understand your trials and tribulations, things that you're going to encounter, and things that you're maybe already encountering. Listen to those who has that information, valuable information, who are adroit at speaking or getting people to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. As a collective, we can only be as good as our partner, as the people we surround ourselves with. John Donne said something that was very important and it still resonates to this day. And he said that in 1624, when he said, "No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a part of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as a manor of thy own or a manor of thy friend. Each man death diminishes me, for I'm a part of mankind. Therefore, sin not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee." Seek, speak, listen.
Good.
All right, and my final comment is about media. We spent a considerable amount of time arguing whether or not January 6th was a riot or insurrection. Let's not go back into that. But, if you read both terms, you can make a case for both. And the fact that you can look at one type of media uses riot, another type of media uses insurrection, to me makes me wonder if both sides are just picking the word that's not based on whether or not it's correct for the situation, but for the reaction that it provokes. So, I want to show that something's bad, but not really, not horrible. So it's a riot, but I want to provoke the strongest emotional reaction possible. It's an insurrection. So I'm not saying don't trust the media. I'm saying watch the media with a tiny bit of salt. Because everybody has an agenda and everybody's going to put their spin on it to fit their agenda. So,
hey, Ernest, real quick, when I do this, that means mute Vic Mike. When I do this one, Daryl. All right, Vic, Daryl.
Hey, listen, man, listen. I might get mad if they here and have an insurrection with X and Vic. That's all I want.
Hey, I just want to say, man, I thank God for you guys, man. I started this show in 2020. Daryl, you was there when I first started. My vision was always this right here. My grandmother used to always tell me, the late Miss Helen James, when it comes to conversation, I'm a comedian. I could talk about anything. And that was my vision for the show. We talk about sports, politics, trending topics, anything going on, pop culture, rap culture, anything. I talk about it all. And I think that's the beauty of this show, that, if you watch other podcasts, it's always one thing. And I think they get lame at some point. I think you should be able to diversify your conversation. So that's why I got you guys on here. You guys are more intelligent when it comes to the political. You guys are intelligent, period, but definitely you know more than I do when it comes to the political realm. I always believe in your crew, you should always have somebody in there smarter than you. You can't be the smartest person in the crew. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to never grow. Your mind will never expand. So I really thank God for you guys, man. In 2025, I really see this thing getting bigger. I thank God for the people that's liking and subscribing to the show, that's really following. I get a lot of feedback. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. Last month, I pulled somebody over, and they were like, "Hey, you Excalibur from the Miller Experience." And I watched the show. I love it. I still wrote them a ticket, though. They ain't getting them out the ticket. I told them I appreciate it. But it shows me that people are really watching, and I'm getting, guys really see when I'm in the gym, at work, I'm getting a lot of strong feedback, and you guys are popular now, especially you, Craig. My auntie love you. So yeah, I really appreciate yeah, Boogie Eli. Yes. So I really appreciate you guys, man. I really appreciate everyone that's subscribing to the channel. Just want to tell everyone, have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family. 'Tis the season to be joyful. It's amazing how in December everybody's happy. Why we can't be like this year round?
Right.
I never understood that. But to each his own. Enjoy your family. You know, tomorrow's not promised. Tonight's not promised. So just enjoy everyone while they still here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and to the Mill Experience family, we love you, and we see y'all next year. Peace.
Peace.